The late 2013 Mac Pro is probably one of the most unique looking workstation grade computers on the market. Its cylindrical design will definitely stand out on your desk, and so will the price. I've spent a week with the machine, and this is my first impressions. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Tomas, and in this one I'm going to talk about the late 2013 Mac Pro. The comment has been made that references the design choice to a trash can, which it does, but where the real ingenuity rests is in the functionality and performance. The machine we're looking at here is the 6-core variant with the dual D500s and 16 gigabytes of ECC RAM, as well as a 256 gigabyte PCI-based flash storage. You can access the innards with one hand and a flip of a lock switch, which is pretty dang awesome if I do say so myself. The input-output houses audio analog output and headphone mini jacks, 4 USB 3.0 ports, 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports, dual gigabit Ethernet ports, 1 HDMI 1.4 port, and the power input. When I saw the teardown of this Mac Pro, I knew it was for me. I opted for this machine as Apple has begun moving their personal computers to be less user upgradable. By that I mean this workstation is completely modular. Although you would be hard pressed to upgrade or replace either of the GPUs as they are proprietary, they are removable nonetheless. Because of the cost of this machine, it is important that it be completely modular so it can live out its investment. It's the best of both worlds for Mac enthusiasts and professionals, as it is capable of many expandable options and is completely user upgradable. One caveat to this statement, however, is that you would need to be functioning in the Thunderbolt space. That being said, all of your expandable options need to be Thunderbolt based. The Mac Pro is capable of housing 4 240-pin DIMM modules. It can run 64 gigabytes of RAM at 1866 megahertz. And if you wanted to bump it up to 128 gigabytes, there are some aftermarket companies that produce 32 gigabyte modules that run at 1333 megahertz. But these are aftermarket ECC modules, and you will have to bump down the clock speed. The memory slots are numbered and are simply accessed by pressing the switch up or using a spudger like seen in the video. Inside the aluminum housing of the Mac Pro, the core of the system is manufactured in a triangle. The input, output, and 2 GPUs make up the triangle core, and resting atop the core is one huge fan that pulls air from the bottom and through the top, creating a smooth flow of air through the center of the machine, keeping it cool essentially. It's kind of mind-boggling that one fan is cooling a workstation grade machine, because workstation grade machines need multiple fans for cooling. And also, traditionally, they're usually stored in another room somewhere. But with this fan is so extremely quiet and there's only one of them, you can keep this directly on your desk or in your studio as is without even trying to muffle it or whatnot. I think it's pretty cool that they've done this, and it is definitely a manufacturing marvel. The PCI-based flash storage is housed on top of one of the GPUs. This is where I posed the question to Apple. Why didn't they give us another PCI port on the other GPU? Could you simply imagine putting 2 of these memory modules together in a striped RAID set? That would be pure awesomeness, and I'd be all for it. The GPUs are visually appealing if I do say so myself. This machine includes an accelerometer that senses when you're moving the Mac Pro and assumes you're moving it to access the I/O. So when you do, the machine lights up. It's the little things that matter, and for the price of this machine, it should do stuff like that. And that's it for the hardware portion of this video, and let's take a very minimalistic approach on benchmarking this thing. I'm going to run through some basic benchmarking tools like Cinebench, NovaBench, and also Geekbench 3. And with Geekbench 3, I'm going to go ahead and run it in 32-bit mode as well, because I know some of you haven't purchased that. So if you were to run 32-bit mode on your systems now, this will give you a good gauge on what performance increases you can expect without having to purchase Geekbench 3. And with that said, the screen capture is running in addition to the benchmarking applications. So I'll throw up an overlay image with the benchmarkings when they're complete. I ran these benchmarks when nothing on the system was taking up resources but the benchmarking application. You can see there is a little bit variation, but I think the screen capture gives you a more accurate representation of how this machine will perform for you, because in real life you're going to be running multiple applications. Like I said, the screen capture is probably a bit more accurate in terms of the real world benchmarking capabilities of this machine. So why did I choose the Mac Pro? Well, I work in the Macintosh environment, and that's not to say that I'm opposed to Windows. I just prefer to work in the Macintosh environment. It's better for the things that I do. And I've noticed significant performance increases with this machine, in addition to the noise reduction. As you all know, if you're running on an older MacBook Pro, you know the fan noise can become quite intrusive in your creative process. And with this machine, I've run it through multiple things, and I never hear a sound, ever. I mean, it's fantastic. It's eerily quiet and definitely is an improvement in my workspace. Not to mention the capabilities of the 6-core dual D500 GPUs. This thing crunches through 1080p video like nobody's business. Ultimately, would I recommend this to somebody just starting in the YouTube space? I would have to say no, simply because of the cost of it. It's definitely an investment decision, and you'll have to consider it. There are other alternatives like the iMac, for example. That thing will crunch through any type of video, and especially if you're just getting started, it's something that isn't needed right off the bat. And that's just my opinion. But if you're looking to crunch through some video and you have the money to purchase one of these things, I hands down wholeheartedly recommend this machine to you. You will not be disappointed in your purchase of the Mac Pro. And that's even now. I waited nearly a year to get this thing in-house. Well, that about does it for me in this one, everybody. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. And leave a comment also letting me know what it is that I can do to improve. Also, feel free to check out my channel. If this is the first video you're seeing of mine, I'll leave an annotation here as well to my last video. I really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.